50 years ago, the government launched its first public information film on drink driving. The film, set in an office Christmas party, was aired in 1964 and politely reminded people that drinking can impair your ability to drive. When 9 out of 10 people say they'd feel ashamed if they were caught drink driving. Only 9 out of 10? Let's now talk to Jeanette Miller, who's president of the Association of Motor Offence Lawyers and managing director of Geoffrey Miller Solicitors. Jeanette, good morning to you.
Morning, Justin.
So, 50 years on, and some idiots out there still think it's perfectly acceptable to go to the pub, get drunk and get into their cars.
I would disagree with that. I would say that the majority, in fact, if not all of the clients that contact me having been arrested for drink driving, tend to start the conversation with the words, I don't agree with drink driving, I'm ashamed, I can't believe I've done this. And the vast majority of people who do get caught tend to believe that they were under the limit when they got behind the wheel.
Right, so are we talking about the next morning then?
Not necessarily. Some people who think that it's okay to drink 2 glasses of wine, say, and they may not have factored into the equation that they haven't eaten all day. Their body metabolism is different to perhaps somebody else's who wouldn't be under the limit after 2 glasses of wine. Sorry, wouldn't be over the limit, rather. But because of their metabolic rate and the fact that everybody's is different, they have been pushed over the limit by the amount that they've consumed. So
I mean, these people, Jeanette, I've got to say, these people, they sound stupid. Great for you because they keep you in business, but what person in their right mind will go to the pub and have 2 glasses of wine and think, well, I'll take the risk? I have got no sympathy for those people at all.
Well, I think that there is a big issue with education, and you may well have more understanding and knowledge than a big proportion of the nation's motorists. I understand it's a very emotive issue. I understand that, thankfully now, looking at the figures that were sent across to me, 90-odd% think that it's a horrendous crime and it's something that really involves the utmost level of selfishness. However, there is a growing trend amongst the youth of today to suggest that the attitude may still be that drink driving is wrong, but the understanding is lacking. And I think that's where really we should be looking at tackling the issue. Because I wrote a blog about this a few years ago. In 2009, the budget for drink drive campaigns was 3.4 million. And then in 2011, it was slashed down to 500,000. I think that's very telling. And it fits in with increasing numbers amongst the youth of the nation's motorists.
I've got a great idea. I've got a great idea coming up here. Why don't we just have a zero tolerance? Then forget 1 glass of wine, 2 glasses of wine. If you have a drink, you cannot drive. It's simple.
I think that could solve a lot of problems. It could create a lot as well because of the morning after situation. But I think it would bring a lot of clarity and avoid people who have no intention of being over the limit, but just for whatever reason, stupidity or just lack of understanding, end up being over the limit because they don't appreciate how alcohol interacts with the body.
Well, we're going to be talking about this later. I've been onto the streets asking people this, whether they would even have one and drive. If you were going out for a meal, Jeanette, and of course you would be under the limit if you had a small glass of wine and then you got behind the wheel of your vehicle, would you do that?
Nowadays, no, but there was a time where I, like many others, just didn't appreciate that it could well put me over the limit. I'm a bit larger than most ladies, so I probably would be okay with 1 glass of wine, but it just isn't worth the risk, particularly to me in my profession now.
Yeah.
I wouldn't do it.
Can you imagine?
No,
if you're dealing with drink drivers and you've been banned yourself?
But many people I know, many friends, relatives even, still think that 1 glass won't matter, especially if it's the beginning of a meal and you're going to be in the restaurant for a few hours. And there are many people that I have to sort of give a warning to say, look, I've just dealt with a case where somebody only had 1 glass and they were caught over the limit.
Interesting stuff. Jeanette, thanks for getting up early for us. Really appreciate your time.
It's fine.
Jeanette,
okay.
Take care. There you go. Jeanette Miller there, president of the Association of Motor Offence Lawyers and managing director of Geoffrey Miller Solicitors.